Welcome to my review of Under the Skin. Under the Skin is directed by Jonathan Glazer. It stars Scarlett Johansson and a bunch of other very talented actors and not so much actresses. Now, the premise of this movie follows the character played by Scarlett Johansson. She is a woman who tends to prey on men, and it takes place in Scotland, and that's pretty much all I can really say about the movie. You're better off going into this movie not knowing much, if anything. I went into this movie not really knowing much outside from the fact of that Scarlett Johansson's in it. There was this one particular actor who's in it who has a deformity of some kind in his face, and that's all I really knew about this movie. I didn't know anything else about this film going into it, and I think that was the best thing I can possibly have done because it helped me a lot in enjoying this film. Now, I have to say, this is definitely one of those movies, if you haven't already seen it, that you need to see by yourself. Do not see this with any other people, especially people that may not enjoy these type of movies. This is a very thought-provoking movie, and it could be confusing to some people or boring to others, or it could be very predictable to other people, and they might tell you things about the film without they themselves knowing whether or not it's true or not, that might end up spoiling the suspense of the movie. That's kind of how it happened for me. But it wasn't anything that really took away from the overall film, because I still ended up really enjoying this movie. But there's a lot of things in this film that are very jarring. There is a lot of particular scenes where you're watching these scenes take place and you're just sitting there like, I can't believe this is actually happening. And there's particular scenes like that that are very traumatic in a sense when watching it. After I watched the movie and went to bed that same night, the movie still, like the imagery of the things that I saw in the film still stuck out in my head. Even right now as I'm talking about the film, those same imageries are like popping up into my head. There's a lot of very particular scenes in this movie that are very shocking. It's kind of traumatic, I have to say, these particular scenes. As for the overall story, I wouldn't say the overall story is very original, I would say, because it's original in a sense, but I would say it's not original when it comes to the theme of who Scarlett Johansson's character is. But the way they go in developing her character and how her story goes from point A to point B is very interesting, because I would say like there's one half of the movie that feels like a certain movie, and then there's another half of the movie that feels like a story of a person trying to find themselves in their own skin. This is definitely one of those movies that you have to at least see once, just so you can say you've seen it and just to like experience it, because I think this is definitely one of those movies that it is an experience that you need to sit through and watch and just decipher what happens on screen in your own accounts, and like, you know, figure out this whole movie yourself, because there's a lot of things you can take from the movie, but at the same time I feel like the movie isn't as complex as some people may say it is, because I feel like, for myself anyways, even though the person I was watching it with was able to really like, you know, pinpoint what the movie was going to be about even before I even got into like 5 minutes into the film, I feel like there is certain things that are pretty predictable in the movie in certain ways. So I definitely recommend this movie to anybody who has any general interest in seeing this movie, who hasn't seen it yet. Please check it out. It's, you know, worth at least one view. And for those who are wary about it, I would even tell you to check it out, because I feel like, as I already said, this is a movie that I think people who are fans of film need to at least experience at least once, just so they say, I saw this movie and it's done with, kind of thing, you know? So if anybody brings it up, you can be like, yeah, I saw it, and this is what I think, whether or not you like it or not. So that is my review of Under the Skin. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Hey guys, the big thing that came out yesterday is the teaser trailer to The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, which I am extremely excited for. It's one of my most anticipated movies of this year. So finally seeing a teaser trailer for it is just, I'm on cloud 9 right now. I have to say, this is the most creative teaser trailer that I've seen for a movie in a while. I really like the setup of it. It starts off as though it's just a broadcast for Capital TV, and this broadcast starts off really